All right, we are live. So I'm so happy to see you again. Uh, just for the people who might not have seen our previous video on when we chat, I think couple of years back. First thing today when I saw you, you are still same. Okay,
Thank
you have
you.
not even changed a bit. Okay, and so happy to see you. Thank you so much, first of all, for giving us your valuable time. And a lot of people at my community, okay, at AI Anytime, and a lot of people are looking forward to this chat today. Okay, and this chat today is going to all about SLMs and enterprise AI, on-device intelligence, and so on and so forth, and whatever you are doing currently. Just for the people, Nami, a quick one-liner and a quick intro about yourself, who you are and what you do.
Quick one-liner. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm Namee Oberst. I'm the co-founder of LLMWare. We are both an open source, and we are now launching a product called Model HQ that's for running AI on your device.
Nice. I mean, that's exactly a one-liner. I mean, see, I mean, just for the people, right? I mean, everyone talks about today the bigger models. We are seeing this week in, week out, that these top 4 5 companies, like let's say OpenAI or Anthropic or XAI, they have been releasing models which are really big in size when it comes to parameters and whatnot. I mean, you have been building in completely in the opposite direction.
For
Okay.
years.
Yes. Just wanted to know, what triggered, right? LLMware, and why you are building these SLMs. If you can enlighten us a little bit on that.
Yeah. So now that the one-liner is over, just a little bit of a background. So we started LLMware. We launched LLMware in open source in October of 23. And basically, we came at it from the viewpoint of we knew, of course, like ChatGPT was out there, but we had also been experimenting with AI models for years before that. And we knew that there were smaller models. Like when we launched the term small language models, by the way, folks, did not exist. So we were calling it like lower count, like parameter models. So these smaller models we knew were really great and getting better. And so that's the belief. And we really thought, there are a lot of tasks like these big models are like, almost like everything to everyone. But then for enterprise use cases, there are very rarely actually use cases, especially if you're talking about workflow automation, where you want like a very general model to do everything for you. You actually want something that's a lot more specific and specialized and also under controls. Like control is like a big thing for enterprises. And just backtracking a little bit, my background is I actually started as an attorney. I went to law school. I was a big firm lawyer, and I also was general counsel of a large public insurance brokerage company. So I had like the mindset of enterprises in mind. Like I knew safety, security, control were all big things, and these large behemoth frontier models didn't allow for that control ultimately. So this is what I was thinking, and also I guess my contrarian nature and so then we're like, you know what, I that's great for like most of the people, but in enterprises I think there's going to be a use case for something different. So we started building in open source and how to do RAG specifically at that time, like in open source, and make it like the best RAG using small language models and just doing something that truly, like, I don't think anybody really else was doing. And if you heard about small language models, oftentimes you probably heard it first from me, because I was like the only crazy person like talking about it and doing it. And people thought I was like insane. So backtracking to that. So we did that work. And then quickly, actually, Intel reached out to us and said, hey, we are building these amazing devices called AI PCs that have
Yes.
NPUs and GPUs integrated. And let's kind of package the solution up so that it can run neatly on this device. So we're like, great, that's exactly the vision that we have. Everybody has these laptops, everybody's going to use these laptops. And now, what if we can actually just make everything private, have everything just run
Yep.
on your laptops? Like, no Wi Fi needed, everything private, everything secure, because that's how people access data is that's the interface, right, for most enterprises on
Mhm.
your laptops, on your PCs. So we're like, this is fantastic. So we started really kind of diving into that realm. And then we started working with Intel and Qualcomm and really working and having access to like their next gen devices always. So we were very, very fortunate to get that kind of support and love from them. And then just kind of like started building out to there. And Now, like we do demos, when we do demos for customers, we do like Wi-Fi off, and they can see like 50 models like running, in different
Yep.
agentic processes, completely private, like blows people's minds, and running like with such great speed and accuracy on your laptop. And of course, no token charges, right? Completely private, completely safe, and no data leaving, and then all on your device. So very, very low complexity. That's really what we want to enable, is like access for AI access for everyone, low complexity, low cost.
Makes sense. No, accessibility really matters. I think when we spoke previously, couple of years back, I think there was models from Slim Family or something that LLMware kind of created on
We
Hugging
still do
Face.
that. Yeah.
We still do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still, a big believer of that statement when we say that for RAG you might not need a lot of big models with a lot of parameters, because you already have the, like, let's say retrieve documents or retrieve chunk. You just have to give it to a model that understand, that can understand languages, right? So completely makes sense. And recently, in last couple of years also, if you look at people like Andre Karpathy or someone who had made this statement that SLMs are the future of agentic AI stack or something, there's a paper also came out, right, that SLMs are the future. And looking at what Nvidia is doing recently with Nemotron,
Yeah.
mostly you see they are completely focusing on models which are from like 2 billion to 5 billion parameters, or even in that range of it, right? Couple of things just to understand a bit more. Okay. uh, Tell us a bit more about your collaboration with Intel and Qualcomm,
Mhm.
and what is this model HQ that you have been like team is working on. Like, I want to know more about this collaboration, because this will be very insightful for people also, because a lot of people might not know that LLMware. I think to be honest, you guys are really underrated. I
Thank
think
you.
you definitely need a good PR. I don't know,
We
you need a PR team to do that,
help us.
and that's why I'm there. Okay, so for a little bit of contribution organically, right? Because we are the voices of open source community, right? We
Yeah.
we, we advocate for open source. So jokes apart, right? I mean, you were doing a great job, and I think I want people to know more about your collaboration with Intel and Qualcomm, and what is this new product model HQ.
Yeah, thank you so much for all your kind feedback. And by the way, thank you so much, AI Anytime community. I have been following this like from very, very, very early days. Like, so you're like totally OG AI also. Like we were just in it together. Like hats off
Yep.
to you. You built an awesome community. So thank you so much for your support. And if you haven't ever checked out our open source repo, we actually just updated it, made a whole bunch of updates. So please check it out and give us a star, and just check it out anyway. I think it's great.
Yep.
But the collaboration with Intel and Qualcomm, it's been really, really phenomenal. So, Intel and Qualcomm are like really leaders in making on-device AI accessible, like with their NPUs and iGPUs, like integrated GPUs. And I actually was just reading that Intel alone has shipped like over 100 million AI PCs so far. Like that is like crazy number of units that are now capable of running AI on device. Most of it going like unused, untapped. So number one, like think about the wasted resource that hopefully will no longer be wasted, like with Model HQ. So what is Model HQ? So basically, it's a no-code, very, very intuitive, easy to use product for people to access AI models, make agents, run chatbots, do RAG, all on device. Very, very intuitive, no code with full UI, easy to use. And it's anyone can use it, although it is more geared towards like business and commercial users, but truly anyone can use it. It's $99 a year per device. So that's the commercial product, but we actually do have the open source version of that. So everybody check that out. We do really want to make this accessible. And then, we also have free trial licenses. So that's kind of what that's the product. And it's very easy to create agents, share agents. And we have various ways of like making agents, the typical Canvas style, drag and drop and all of that. So we have a variety of ways. And within that, you have access to, depending on the platform that you use, up to like 250 plus like small language models. You can just like download, like literally like all completely no code. So we're trying to make it as easy for business users to use it as possible. Although I know your community is like very sophisticated, so probably don't need that necessarily. But that's the idea, is to make AI very, very accessible and to almost show off the power of these small language models, which combined with like how amazing these small language models are getting in smaller parameters versus, and then you combine that with the tremendous capability of these AI PCs, like the new devices that have come out this year. I digressed a little bit, but I just came back from CES in Las Vegas, so I'm sure people have heard from various reports at CES. That's for anyone who doesn't know, it's the Consumer Electronics Show. It's probably the biggest electronics show,
Yep.
like show in the world, and that's where they released their Intel released their Panther Lake series, and then Qualcomm released their XC Elite, Snapdragon Elite. Oh my gosh, these devices are crazy fast, incredibly good. Folks, like, why do we need all these data centers? You're gonna have like AI processing
Yep.
capability at your laptop, and for amazing prices, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's
That's
so
yes.
we've been working with them. So we get really good feedback with them. We get access to their product. Like Intel shipped us this top secret Panther Lake device very early on.
Wow.
We got access to, so we can build towards the future. So that's been the collaboration. There's marketing collaboration. There's a lot of events. Um, there's a lot of demos, so there's a lot that we do together. So
Hmm.
that's been really phenomenal, and getting our names out for like what can you do with these AI PCs.
Makes sense. Absolutely, I agree. So, by NPU, you mean neural processing unit, is it correct? All
Yeah.
right. Okay. There is a good question, Nami, from an audience. He says, "SLMs as small agents for a big task is helpful, but how we remove hallucinations of them, which lead to loop between agents." So, just to simplify that question, let's say uh, we are sure that okay, for RAG we might not need a lot of bigger models, because for RAG we already have the retrieved chunk or the retrieved documents, and we just have to augment or synthesize the response, right? But when it comes to, let's say, building agentic system, where the models in general, the language models, should have a better reasoning capabilities, right? So they can reason well, they can get access to this data from different tools and whatnot in the workflows. So the question maybe here is that, okay, if we are using models which are smaller in size, how are the reasoning capability of these models, and how do we remove hallucinations from it?
Yes. And this is a great question. And this is what I would love to address.
Yes.
The way that you work with small language models, and I can probably like wax poetic about this topic, is a little bit different than the way you would use probably a large language model, like frontier model, meaning oftentimes when we work with folks like who are using like a frontier model, like I see like 2-page long prompts,
Hmm.
true or false, like mixing 2-page long prompts
Yes.
like 20 times over. This goes to this to this. And it's just all of that, like all of those prompts, like those 2-page prompts, is like ripe for hallucination, because you're giving the model like so much almost like agency, right? Like almost like so much ability to make decisions for itself and to interpret the prompt in a different way, etc. So, but that actually doesn't really work in a situation where you need accuracy and predictability of responses. It really just doesn't work. So good, because
Hmm.
let's say the model is not behaving in the way that you would like to behave. Where in the 2-page prompt, what prompt, what word should you fix? Where do you even start? Like which word is the word that's leading to all this like hallucination? What is the word that is leading to word or
Yes.
phrases or step is leading to all the hallucination? You don't know actually. It's
Hmm.
hard to tell. The way that we work with agents with small language models is that we actually break up the task. If you look at that 2-page prompt that you may have actually just created, there are like a
Yep.
bunch of like 20 tasks probably. I'm willing to bet that there are like 20 different tasks that you have in there. Break it out. If you break it out and you append a small model, like for instance, one of our small language models, like an agent model, is like an extraction model. Let's say you have a vision model that's like, reading like a complex, like one of the things like I do is like, we have a small language model, like that's like reading like the back of like a card. Let's say something like this. Something like this could be read with a vision model that lives on your
Yes.
device. But then it's going to read a whole bunch of things when maybe all I might care about is like the serial number. So the vision model could read all this. I could say vision model, step 1, vision model, read this. Step 2, extraction model, just get me that serial number. That's all you might ever want actually out of the step. So extraction model, just give me that extract that serial number. Then you can actually take it. But if you were to do this now with OpenAI, be like, read this. What is a serial number? No, that's wrong because there are 2 different numbers. And so you're going to go
Yep.
on and
Yep.
on. So break out your tasks. If you do that, it actually leads to a lot better testing, a lot better predictability, and a lot better control and design processes, and I think a lot of flexibility in the way that you can create your workflow without fear of it hallucinating. And when something does go awry and something is not behaving, you can go, oh shoot, like in this step number 6, it just keeps like giving me like bad answers. So I don't like that model. I want to switch this model out. Maybe go to a higher, like better model, maybe a higher parameter count model. Maybe that's not the right model for you. So this is how we like to do agentic workflows. It is very, very disciplined, control driven, but then actually leads to a lot less risk for hallucinations, and you can troubleshoot a lot better. This is a kind of discipline that I'd like to kind of, propose to everyone out there, because I think that it actually works.
No, that actually works. So recently, I was spending some time with one of the biggest hospitals in the United States. Okay, and I was working with the entire data science team. And I told them something about query decomposition for subatomicity or atomicity, where you decompose the queries. Like, let's say they have the prompt thingy, right? You talk
Uh,
two big prompts that they have. How can we decompose it, or like for smaller workflows and whatnot? So that makes sense. I mean, it's all how you engineer it, right? When you build the system, I mean, you cannot solely rely on a language model. It's more of an engineering behind it. That makes sense. Uh, okay, my honest question. I
yeah.
mean, we can keep on talking about, of course, because we advocate for it. We want AI to be accessible, more domain specific for downstream tasks, and everything is fine. Okay, my question is, where bigger model still wins.
Mhm.
Okay, so there might be a lot of use cases that you can highlight. Like, let's say the bigger models are important, or that's why, because and there is a follow-up question with that. First, I will ask this question. The follow-up question is, when we look at this corporates, right? You have been working with so many Fortune 500 companies now, right? These guys have licenses given from Google, Microsoft Azure, and they have AWS Bedrock, and they have like a lot of things where they are using proprietary models trained by OpenAI, trained by Anthropic, trained by AWS itself, like Nova and whatnot, Titan, and etc., etc., etc. So the question is, where the big model still wins, and how do you cope up with this competition coming up from the closed source providers?
Yeah. So I think this whole AI space is still, let's face it, like very, very new. And there are like tasks that maybe like a big model can do much better. Like I'm totally not ever saying that small models can always beat the bigger, larger models.
Yep.
And so the way we actually account for that is we allow you within the agentic workflow to actually link to like an OpenAI or an Anthropic or a Gemini if you need to for that specific task. So if you needed to, let's say, like have a very, very complex task, maybe like with a lot of, different complexity that maybe you're not finding the accuracy with a small language model, you can take apart that specific step and then do that. And that still saves you so much like token, right? In token charges, privacy, etc.
Yep.
So I actually am not really like ever like all or nothing. So we try not to do that because I try to be realistic. But having said that, I also don't think that it's all only frontier models either. So this is the perspective that I would like to inject, is that it is not, you would be surprised at how amazing the new small language models are if you haven't checked them out recently. And they've been really good, to be honest, for the last like 8-9 months,
Yep.
like I would say. Um, Quinn does a phenomenal job. I mean, let's just be honest, like their models are just phenomenal. I really look forward to each of their new model releases. The five models are really, really good. So, but having said that, yeah, like I think that for now you can mix and match, but I think that pricing will start to become an issue. There's increasing concern about privacy, data security, because they don't want even, the data to leak out of the enterprise. So especially in I think in Europe, there is a huge concern about data privacy. People rely on the cloud less. So I think there's definitely a lane also for small language models. So I'm not even saying right now that it's a head-to-head competition. I don't think that it is. I'm just being really like honest. But is it only frontier models in the future? Absolutely not. That is definitely not the industry trend right now. Even if you look at what NVIDIA is doing, it's a clear nod to the fact that small language models can actually offload a lot of the workflow that the frontier models are doing.
Makes sense. There's a question. There's a good question. Any good small model you have for coding? Any coding specific model that you guys have right now?
Yeah, I mean, right, like I would say generally for coding, I always look at the like Quen models are actually really good at coding. Um,
Hmm.
in my opinion. But
Yep.
that's the use case we don't use as much at LLMware. But yeah, if anybody else knows like about that, but like I generally do Quen for coding. Like that's
Yeah. When is
yeah,
good.
yeah, that somebody else agrees. Yeah, like those are my
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my go-to.
Absolutely. That makes sense. See, when you work with enterprises, most of the time it might be really about security and regulations because these Fortune 500 companies or the companies which are really big like MNCs, they're really worried about data going out of their clients, right? When they work with like even if it's a Azure or GCP or whatever, okay, I mean data definitely goes out in their data centers, right? And when you bring your models, so the question is that when you mostly work with enterprises, is they only talking about security and privacy, or is they really want to do that SLMs? They have that jill of okay, let's do SLMs because of a lot of other things, right? I mean, if you look at the carbon emissions, right, when it comes to using this infrastructure, a lot of these bigger companies they have sustainability at their main agenda as well, right? In the last couple of years, so is it mostly about security, or there is beyond that when it comes to using SLMs?
Well, for our product, I find that, what's appealing about our product, to be honest, like, is like the usability because it's no code and we try to make it really intuitive, really easy to use, really accessible. And then the ability to link their CSV data into. So we've gotten really, really good at doing CSV data. So what we realize that a lot of enterprises have a lot of complex CSV data that they want to start to use that they really don't want to push that data out to the cloud somewhere, like because it's really sensitive data and proprietary. So we can handle a lot of CSV data. And I mean, like, we're talking about, like 1,000 columns and, tens of thousands of rows. Like we're not talking like, 2 columns and 20 rows. So that kind of data. And then, so people want to work with data like that. And that's being able to enable something like that, some complex task with like no code has been, I think, almost a game changer for us. Um, I would love to say like yes, like people care about carbon emissions and stuff like I do. I care, I care, but to be honest,
Yep.
that hasn't
Yep.
been like nobody's really come to me and said, "Oh, I love it because it does that." Like,
It
please
sounds good. It sounds
learn
cool.
more. Yes, I know. I care
Yeah.
about that. This is part of what motivated me, but especially with what's going on in this world with all the data centers popping up left, right, and center and all that. But hopefully, like your community, like please care, like it's important.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at the chief sustainability officers at these companies. They keep talking about it, but I have seen it. They don't even know how to calculate different scopes when it comes to carbon emissions. I mean, they have bloody no idea about it. But just because it sounds cool, they have to submit the reports to investors and whatnot. So we'll not go into that kind of topic. But okay, tell me about
I want you to be
Unslow.
like really honest with your crowd, and like I'm just being like you told me like be straight. So I'm like I'm just speaking like like straight.
Yeah, I mean, we fear nobody. It's fine. Okay. We have the backing of open source community. We can go head to
That's
head with
right.
them. Okay. Say you were also part of GitHub program, right? Some GitHub accelerator programs or something at a point of time. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Uh,
So we were
what's
actually very fortunate to be selected as a top 10 AI project in open source by GitHub.
Yep, yep. I remember it. I remember it. And I think you had a fellow company called Unsloth. I mean,
Of course.
what's your opinion on Unsloth? You guys have worked together at like Unsloth is something that we are so proud of Unsloth, right? I mean, they have made this fine tuning process so easier for us, like with whatever quantized models and whatever we have been seeing to run it on CPU machines and fine tune on CPU as well. Have you ever worked with them? Is there any plan that you are in touch with Unsloth guys? How it's going?
Oh yeah, no, so Mike and Daniel Han, like, oh, yeah, they're amazing, amazing. So we became very friendly and yeah, like we
Yep.
we interact. We haven't collaborated, like we kind of floated the idea a while back, but then we just both got like so busy. But yeah, I'd love to collaborate with them. They're amazing. What they're doing is great. As individuals, they're great. As friends, supporters, like fellow people, like folks in the AI community, like I only have the nicest things to say about them. So they deserve every success in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will tag Daniel. I'll take a bite of this clip and I'll tag him. I'll say, okay, now is the time to collab with LLMware.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they're awesome. They're totally
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
All right, a couple of questions from the audience. One question is, hi Nami, from your experience, what's the biggest mistake companies make when trying to productionize LLMs or SLMs when they take it to production? And what mindset shift is required to move from demos to real and reliable system? That's a very good question, Nami.
I think I touched on some of this, but I think the biggest thing is really breaking down the tasks into bite-sized pieces. And the reason is because for testing, right?
Hmm.
For troubleshooting, for understanding, real life, like, sometimes just some stuff just goes wrong. And if you
Yep.
don't break it out into bite-sized pieces, you will not be able to troubleshoot and figure out where this is going wrong. So no matter what you're using, LLMs or SLMs, I really do try to break it down. Like, most of the folks here are coders. So you're used to breaking down tasks actually into, like, line by line. Almost bring that mentality. And if you bring that mentality to bear, it's like when I see like those like ridiculously long prompts, like change like one to the other, like I almost scratch my head because like here we have like the best coders in the world, and where did you guys go? Like why are we writing like novels?
Mhm.
Break
Yep.
it
Yep.
down. Like you would never write code this way, right? So let's do it. So if you bring that mentality to bear, it'll really help you because to fall into production. Because the worst answer is something goes wrong. Something always does goes wrong. Somebody uses it in a way you've never imagined, broke it
Yep.
in a way you could never have fathomed, and then you're like, I don't know where it went wrong. We have to revisit the entire thing. That's bad. This is where now you're gonna fall, right?
Uh, how are you making money, Nami? 2 years back, we had a brief chat about maybe you have been looking at investment, and of course, whatever is publicly shareable, you can share that. Like, I don't want you to share your financials now. I mean, I'm just asking because you have an open source philosophy at
Yeah.
LLMware, and that's I'm very proud of that. Okay, and you are someone I really admire. Looking at what you do, because we have less people, I will say we have less representation when it comes to women in AI, right? I mean, we'll not say that it's very gender neutral, but I'm just saying, I mean, we
No,
have
no,
less
there are very,
representation.
very few women. It's a
Yeah.
fact. There are very
So,
few
so,
women in AI. Yeah.
so what's going on in terms of investment? Have you guys raised, what round is it? Like you are looking to raise more, or
Yeah.
how does it look like currently?
Just personally, I've been very fortunate that I've been able to bootstrap. So,
Wow.
I looked at it for a while and I just it wasn't my thing. Like, so this could be maybe like if you're getting something out of this, you're getting that, maybe I just like, I don't like follow the grain. Like I just,
Yep. Yep.
like
Makes sense.
I just do like, what I think should be done. And this is probably, what, how we came to the product that we did, just like tirelessly working on a concept when everybody thought it was crazy. And quite frankly, when we launched, many people told me that this was never going to work. Like nobody was going to do small. They were like, doing AI on a laptop, they're like, that's never going to happen. I heard that 100 times, folks. Like I did. AI on a laptop, not possible. Like not good. And so, at some point, like you're just like, okay, if you have a conviction and like you think you're right, and then you have to be willing to like live and die by your sword. Like you have to believe in your conviction or you don't. And most founders are like really passionate, so they're gonna do what they think is right. Otherwise, like I would have folded a long time ago and just done something else, practice law or something, right? But I believe that this was right. Like I believe that we were on the right path, and I'm honestly now like happy to say, like, one of the biggest problems that I had when we started was that most people just didn't believe in this vision. And now I think that finally people do. And now that people do, I already built the product. Like I don't necessarily need the money right now. So that's where we are, just being really honest. Any other questions? I think Sonu. Can anyone hear me? Okay, Sonu will be back. Does anybody else have a question? Anyway, while we're here, let me give a quick shout out to Rohan. Hi, Rohan. He is our DevRel at LLMWare, and it looks like he's actually getting a lot of questions. So shout out. Rohan's awesome, part of our team. Thank you, Rohan, for joining and for answering the questions like during the live stream. Yay. How do we differ from other RAG setup? One of the differentiators for us is that we actually have our own parser that we've natively built. So we actually spent a lot of time to build our own parsers. But beyond just RAG, as Rohan says, we do agents, and we also have our own agent models that are very task specific. So we have, like, again, we talked about the extraction model or classification model or sentiment detection model or rating model. And these little models like sound like it's not a big deal, but actually in enterprises, you'd be amazed at how many enterprises are like, we're just like using AI just to do basic like sentiment detection, like positive or negative, or emotion detection, like what is the emotion of like a call that came in, or what is the emotion for all the social media. So it's these are the kinds of things that we work on. Hey, you were back, Sonu.
Sorry, it started raining, and suddenly my network dropped. Okay,
What
no,
happened?
sorry, you were talking about something, right?
Yeah, we were just we were talking about the question of how do we differ from other RAG setups, and how we have RAG because we have our own parsers, but we also have our own we have an agentic workflow system, and then we have our own agentic models that we designed called
Mhm.
SLMs that are like very, very
Yep.
task specific. Yeah.
So tell us about the next 12 to 24 months, because I think that language models now have reached a ceiling stage. I don't see a
Agree.
revolutionary changes are happening. Like even if you look at Gemini 3 and GPT 5.2, there not have been a very revolutionary change. There
Agree.
have been there have been some improvements on a couple of benchmarks, but I don't see. So now
Hmm.
the language models are reaching that ceiling stage.
Love
What
it.
is there for you? So after this model HQ, like let's say model HQ is on card, but how does next 2 years look like for you at LLMware?
Yeah. No, so just like you said, now that the large frontier models have like kind of reached their the peak of their capability, more or
Yep.
less, I think it's about miniaturization, and you see this time and time and time again. So I feel like this is our time. This is now when all these people are gonna, it's almost like the IBM analogy of like those giant supercomputers that are now like shrunk down to our laptops and basically our phones even. We
Hmm.
are miniaturizing these models. So I think this is where our capability to deliver RAG, agentic workflows, all like no code and easy to use, accessible on your device. This is our time to shine. I think this is the next frontier of AI. Um, that's truly what I believe. That's what's in store for us. So we've been very fortunate. We work with some large distributors now, Ingram Micro and SHI, and we're now really starting to demo our product to the largest enterprises in the world. And whereas, a year or 2 years ago, people didn't actually have these devices where people were like, oh, how do I use it? They didn't have them. But now
Yep.
when we go talk to some of the largest enterprises in the world, they're like, oh yeah, we have Lunar Lake. Oh yeah, we're going to get Panther Lake. It's fantastic. So it makes it very easy to try, very easy to adopt and to use. So that's the future.
Makes sense. Couple of more things. When are you coming back to India? When are you coming to India? I don't know if you've ever been to India. So when are you coming to India first? Any
Yeah.
plans to, because we do a lot of community events, like we are doing conferences, we are doing events, and of course happy to help on that if anything is required. But any plans to, because in India we have a lot of open source communities. Like we love open source here in
Yeah,
India, right?
we
Any
do.
plans to come to India, or any expansion plan? I don't know.
So for people like, I used to live in India, by the way, folks. Like I lived in Bangalore for 3 years. It was one of the
Wow.
best experiences of my life. And some of my best friends are Indian. I love, love, love India. So having said that, I have two friends in India this year whose kids are getting married like later this year. So I have some weddings to attend. And when I do, I will definitely let people know.
So you have to come to Hyderabad. Like we are
I've been to
growing.
Hyderabad. I love Hyderabad. We'll definitely do that.
Yes, we are growing. Happy to host, and
Yeah,
we are really
thank
growing.
you.
The community. The community here in Hyderabad is amazing, and you will love it, right?
And
And
the
we keep
food's
talking
amazing.
about, of course, of course, and we keep talking about open source and LLMware here in general, right? Okay, because a lot of young graduates and freshers, they are looking at this maybe, and they will also look at later, this video. What skills
Yeah.
the engineers today should build, right? Because you are a founder, right? You can give really good advices on what they should do, because job may be really uncertain in future. Like everybody's saying, look at Henson Huang, right? He has been talking about it, that okay, people who are using AI, they will replace people who are not using AI, right? So what's your view on that, and what kind of skills people should now get it now?
Yeah. Yes. So going back to what I saw at CES, and this is what I tell everyone close to me. I work in LLMs, SLMs, and language-based models. But folks, the future is going to be in robotics. So I see a lot. Like if you went to CES, you would have seen robots everywhere, everywhere. Compared to even uh,
Physical AI concept is coming up. Everybody started talking about physical AI. And NVIDIA has been gaga about physical AI because they kind of control the entire chip and infrastructure and energy thing. So everybody's talking about physical AI. So do you what mean by robot, in that sense, or you look at
yeah,
robotics separately?
vision, like vision, speech, like everything. Like so, as we mentioned, Sonu, like like the frontier models have like reached almost like their saturation point. Like I think
Yep,
yes, like there are advances to be made, but if you really want to talk about the next frontier, but not so far out, like
absolutely.
it's not like crazy. What people are really focusing on is like physical AI, robotics. So like what you saw literally at CES, like at almost every other booth, if you were to go there, were like all these robots doing, but it's still very, very, very early days, very, very, very
Yep,
basic. Like so somebody like me who always like I live like 2-3 years out. Like I always have. This is why people like, are like, what are you talking about? But let me live like 2-3 years out. It's going to be a lot of demand is going to be about like how
yep,
to
yep.
deal with robots. It's a very still like nascent space. It's really untapped. If you are interested in exploring more, I would actually look at that space. I think there's going to be a lot of job opportunities there. It's kind of an untapped space as of yet, to be honest with
Absolutely.
you. So invest your time there.
Makes sense. I have a little bit of different opinion. I agree with you what you said, but the opinion is more on hardwares are really good. So hardwares will become good, okay, in near future. Okay, I will look at from semiconductors, from
Mhm.
from chips to the entire infrastructure. It'll become better and better and better in near future.
Yep.
My problem is still relies with softwares. Okay, so
Mhm.
my problem is still relies with the models, the language models, because they
Yep.
are the backbone. They are the backbone within these hardware. Look at the vision models, speech models,
Exactly.
language models. My
Exactly.
problem is are these models. Like
Yep.
when people like Likun says that these models are not there yet, like they're as dumb as parrot. That's what he said a couple of years back, not now maybe, but
Mhm.
the problem is with the compatibility of the hardwares with the algorithms, the softwares, the models in general, just in layman terms. And I think the softwares are not able to empower the hardware currently. Like it's very easy to
Mhm.
trick a humanoid or a robot like today. I've seen a lot of videos and I know this. Like it's very easy to trick them. Okay, so but the advancement will happen. I agree with you. Like we are going toward that physical AI era, but my focus still relies on building maybe building models that can really empower it. And I don't know, LLM alone will not do it. Like we have to combine that with other technologies or techniques. Okay, like let's say, of course, people are talking about quantum now. Quantum is going mainstream in next couple of years. Elon Musk has talked about it on Twitter or X nowadays, right? He has been talking about it, but we'll see where we go with it. So I think for the young guys, I'll still tell them to focus on fundamentals. Like even if
Agreed.
they have to focus on fundamentals of robotics.
Yes,
Like how
agreed.
Arduino works, or how Jetson Nano or how Raspberry works. Like look
Agreed.
at these things. Okay, don't look at directly to take a humanoid and start working, on top of it
No, no, no.
and just buy it from somewhere. I mean,
This
that should
goes
not be
without
the
saying.
idea.
Folks, we need to learn our ABCs before we can start to
Yes,
write our novel.
absolutely. So that makes sense. Okay, there is a section called rapid fire, Nami. Okay,
Rapid fire. Okay, wow, I didn't know
rapid
that. Okay,
fire.
I'm ready.
Yes, where we'll ask questions, 4 or 5 questions. You have to be sharp. Okay, you have to answer, within a couple of words or within a sentence and quickly.
Got
You
it.
cannot take a lot of time.
For
Okay,
sure.
so
Okay.
I'll put you now in on spot. Okay, okay. So first question.
Third.
Okay, first question. One AI myth you strongly disagree with.
I'm sorry, what AI myth?
You strongly disagree with AI myth.
Oh, yeah, that ChatGPT is for everything. Like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Your favorite AI tool today. Now, as you talked about ChatGPT, what's your favorite AI tool that you use every day?
Well, obviously, Model HQ, I use it every day.
Model HQ. Okay. Anything apart from Model HQ, that's something else you use? Like maybe for PPT, do you use Gamma or GenSpark or Skywork, or for music, for video, for something, for research, or you completely rely like we're using Model HQ? How is that?
No, honestly, I either use Model HQ or I still use just ChatGPT because I just want to see what it's
Nice.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One mistakes founders should avoid. Tough question.
Um,
Tough question. Tough question.
chasing the trend.
Chasing the trend. Yeah, I think yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. What excites you most right now in today's AI world? One thing that really excites you. Physical AI
Obvious
is
on-device AI, obviously.
on
That's
device AI, of course. Makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. Your favorite LLM currently?
I have to say SLM or LLM.
Let's go with anything is fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
SLMs
love the
also.
Khan series. I did, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Most underrated enterprise AI skill today to have. Like, let's say someone who is looking to get into bigger companies. What should be that one skill that they should learn?
I honestly think it's the basics, like the basic how to do RAG.
How to
Yeah,
do RAG? Okay,
yeah.
RAG. Okay.
Because it's
Uh,
the underpinning for almost everything.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think we're good now. So, as you rightly said, right? What's your views on agentic AI? Like everybody now, the last 1 year we have seen everybody's talking about agentic AI. Okay, what's your views on that?
It depends on how you want to use it. So agentic AI, meaning it makes decisions for you, very, very hard to sell in the enterprise. It's frightening. It's terrifying. Nobody wants that.
Yep.
But agentic AI, as in it automates your workflow. That's like a mundane task you just hate to do every week. Great. Everybody wants that.
Yeah, makes sense. I completely agree with you. I think alignment becomes a bigger issues when it comes to agentic stack. Like you have to the alignment thingy. Like even if you look at a lot of tools for observability and for evals and for whatnot, I think we collect a hell lot of data through tools like Langfuse and Arizi, and a lot of tools are there by the way to collect data. Okay, or the tracing data or the traces and logs. But the problem is that we are not using that data further to align the agent. I mean, we are probably not using it for further fine tuning, or let's say using some reinforcement learning techniques and so on and so forth. I think that's where the problem is, because that's a very difficult skills also to kind of do it. But that makes sense. Okay. Just for the audience who are now, after this 40-45 minutes of chat, who are now interested to kind of go and probably contribute to what you guys are doing, is there any scope for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out LLMWare. Go join our Discord community. We're an open source. We really did update our repo to make connections easy. So we even integrate into OpenVINO, by the way, which is like the Intel.
Wow.
So yeah, so we have a lot. So check it out. We made a lot of updates recently. We're continuing to update our open source repo. So check it out. Like that's a great way to get started. And then if you're interested, if you do have an AI PC like a Lunar Lake, Meteor Lake, or Qualcomm Snapdragon, and you would like a free trial, also contact us. Rohan Sharma, I see he's active there. So yeah, contact me or him.
Is Rohan your developer advocate or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, he has been for
Nice, nice.
doing a great job too. I gave a little shout out while you were gone. Hi, Rohan.
Nice, of course. Hi, Rohan. Yeah, no, of course. Okay, and I will of course share the link in description as well, everywhere wherever it's required. Uh, Anything, I'll give you 1 minute to say if you want to say something like an open talk, open 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the fact that you're even, in this community, the fact that you're engaging like this, I think tells me that you are an active, curious person who's interested to learn and to like learn about AI and the future. So I think we're definitely speaking to the right audience. Keep at it. AI is changing rapidly. Always keep an open mind, but be intellectually curious at all times. Like question everything, dissect every problem into smaller bits, and make sure that you're keeping on top of it, and I'm positive that your future and your path will be bright. There's always room in the world for amazing, brilliant people who are intellectually curious like you guys. So keep it up. Love it.
Makes sense. Thank you so much, Nami. I think it was always pleasure to chat with you. Hopefully, when you are here in India, we'll definitely meet. And thank you so much for your time. I
I
hope that was insightful for the audiences. Thank you.
thank you so much everyone for having me.